Mega.
People of California live under a terrible shadow. They know that one day the San Andreas Fault will rupture, unleashing enormous earthquakes. But all this time, an even more powerful hazard lies just a little further north.
The Hayward Fault, isn't it?
It's a completely different fault, and it's going to unleash an earthquake up to 30 times more devastating than anything the San Andreas Fault can produce.
Thunderbird.
The source of all this danger
Cascadia.
lies deep beneath the waters of the Pacific Northwest
That's
coast.
why
It's a huge gash in the Earth's crust that's nearly 1,000 kilometres long.
Okay.
It runs from British Columbia
That'll be
in
the
Canada
Hayward Fault, isn't it?
and ends in Northern California. It's called the Cascadia Fault.
Yeah.
The Cascadia Fault lies on what geologists call a subduction zone.
Subduction
The
zone.
subduction zone is where two giant plates meet head to head, and one of them gets pushed right down under the other.
Now, this is what I'm talking about.
Subduction zones can produce the biggest earthquakes on the planet.
Yeah, get ready.
Generally speaking, if you have two great masses of rock and you're scraping them,
Benfield Hazard
they're not going to move very
Research
easily. You're going to get a lot of friction there. And I liken it to sort of two cheese graters pushing past one another. Very, very difficult to get any smooth sort of movement there.
Yeah, it's all smooth, cheddar.
Subduction zones cause earthquakes when the plate that's being pushed down gets stuck. As it pushes, the upper plate gets squeezed and distorted. Eventually, the strain becomes too much. The upper plate slips, and that's what creates a mega thrust earthquake.
Mega thrust earthquake. Look at that. Mega thrust.
The power of an earthquake depends on the size of the fault that breaks. And there's something unique about subduction zone earthquake faults.
Cheers.
With most earthquakes, only one small part of a fault can shift, the part that's snagged.
Yeah.
The section that breaks can cause violent shaking and devastation in the immediate area.
Okay.
But when a subduction fault ruptures, something quite
Shit
different
hits
happens.
the fan.
It can unzip along the entire length of the fault line for hundreds of kilometres.
Yeah.
The effect goes way beyond the reach of any normal earthquake event. The Cascadia subduction zone is almost 1,000 kilometres long.
Get ready.
If it does rupture along its full length, then scientists believe the next Cascadia earthquake will be one of the largest ever recorded.
Uh-oh.
A magnitude 9 or greater.
Uh-oh. Here's trouble.
That's a terrifying prospect for the people of the Pacific region. When the Cascadia Fault ruptures, the shock waves will fan out across the whole northwest coast of the continent.
Uh-oh.
And lying directly in its path are major cities like Vancouver, Seattle, Portland. But it's not just its power that will be so devastating.
Yeah.
As the fault ruptures, it will unzip at over 10,000 kilometres an hour.
That's fast.
Even at that speed, it will take 5 minutes to travel the entire length of the fault line.
Oh, folks, you got some
A
shit coming.
5-minute earthquake is far longer than normal.
5-minute earthquake.
The duration of the event is very unusual. And in that sense alone, it can cause more damage. A quake that goes on for longer causes more damage generally than one that is over within 10 or 20 seconds.
Serious shit, folks.
And the big question is, when will it happen? Forecasting earthquakes is notoriously difficult, and no one can say when Cascadia will rupture again. But it's possible to look back at the geological record and see how frequently they've happened in the past.
Yeah, and guess what?
Sure enough, the Washington coast does hold traces of several past megathrust earthquakes.
Yeah, ask the Indians, man.
In the United States, tree rings, Native American legends, and geological evidence
Exactly.
all indicate that the Cascadian fault line has ruptured 5 times.
Native American Indians.
So when will it happen next? You can calculate that according to when it last ruptured. And according to the geological record, the last time that happened was in 1700. That's 300 years ago. And in the past, it has ruptured at roughly 300-year intervals.
Oh dear.
So the next Cascadia earthquake could be just around the corner.
Oh dear.
So no. And for the people of the Pacific coast, that's a pretty troubling thought to live with. It seems to me that earthquakes will always bring devastation to our planet. We certainly can't prevent them.
No.
We still can't even predict them.
No.
Earthquake science is still a long way to go, if that's ever going
Got
to
even
change.
further now that I'm on the scene,
In
eh?
the meantime, all we can do is build 4 earthquakes and learn to live with them.
Captured an earthquake, amigos. You heard it here first.